Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Hope you guys had a good Veterans Day and everything else. Yesterday I went over to a friend's house or whatever, and a bunch of my kind of little class, I guess you could say, in the physics department. All the seniors and stuff kind of went over to his house, and we had a bit of a cookout and stuff like that. So while I was there, I started talking to one of my friends, Matthew, and he made a comment about how, like, I'm probably the healthiest person he knows, and then he just watched me just pile basically a whole bunch of meat on a plate and some stuff like that. And he was like, I'm surprised because you're one of the healthiest people I know, and just seeing you put that, and I told him, or seeing you put that on your plate. And so I started telling him, I was like, I used to be hella fat for a reason. I used to be like 300 pounds at the end of high school, or kind of in the middle of high school, I guess you could say. I used to play football, and I was a lineman in general. I played both sides. And I was told by one of the coaches that I needed to gain weight because the school that I played for was a very big school, relatively. And we played against big boys. Some of those down, you get those big old boys in the South, especially on the linemen, to where like pretty much all of them were at least 220, most of them probably 250 or up. That's just how it is. So I needed to gain weight, and I was only 170 pounds. And so I just started gaining weight, but I didn't really have any guidance on how to gain weight. And so I basically just did that with pizza and lasagna. And then in about a year, I was about 270. And then coming to the spring practice, my junior year of high school, I decided to quit. And there were reasons for that, mostly family reasons. Like my grandfather had just had like a double bypass, I think, and things were starting to get hard, and so I quit football and got a job. And I was also, the injuries were kind of stacking up, at least for me. I wasn't some amazing player, so I wasn't planning on like going D1 or whatever and playing in college. I was mostly an academic. Had like all throughout high school, it was 4.0. I got a full ride scholarship for physics and stuff like that. And so I was like, if I'm going for academics, I've had 4 or 5 concussions. Not all of them in football. I only had like 2 or 3 in football. But I was like, it's just not worth it anymore. And so I quit and got a job and stuff like that. And then I had to lose weight. And I did that basically by just going on a carnivore diet. In a way, right? Or at least how I lost it and kept it off, right? I tried various things, and I'd always just gain it back and stuff like that, like the typical story. But I kind of went more the carnivore route and the vertical diet route, to where the focus is on micronutrients and meat. And my family has a lot of like health issues and stuff like that. We're all bigger people, and so there's a lot of like blood pressure stuff, and watch your sodium and stuff like that. And so I was very active, like going to the gym and then working in like landscaping and loading and shit like that. And so doing that, I needed a lot more sodium, which I wasn't getting from my normal diet because I wasn't educated about that stuff then. And then I saw Stan Efferding's vertical diet and watched his rhino rants on YouTube and everything else, and I started looking into salt and started focusing on putting actual salt on my food, stuff like that. And within 2-3 days of basically just eating like salty steak and stuff like that, pretty much all my issues went away. And I just started dropping weight. But it was really weird, because I thought like I'd lose a lot of strength too. But like, as an example, at the time I was deadlifting about, I think I deadlifted 365 for a double, right? And then I started focusing on the salt and stuff and everything, and it's literally like the next time I deadlifted, I pulled 405, and it was easy. So I don't know. A lot of the stuff you see nowadays, especially in the nutrition space, from what I can tell, I'm not quite sure what's going on in there, because I mean, I guess it's harder in the medical field and kind of like the health space, I guess, especially with the scientific research and stuff, because it's not like physics to where you have the same thing, right? So like if you have an experiment, you can do the same thing over and over again. It's very easy to replicate, relatively at least, depending on what you're doing. But in general, but in terms of like the health space and stuff, those studies, it's like those are actual people a lot of the times that you have to do. And so like, how well are they actually adhering to what you're doing? It's like how far, like how much oversight are you giving them and stuff like that. There's a lot more variables, is my point. And so you get kind of data that's more I don't know, sporadic, I guess you could say. I'm not really in that industry, so I don't have a medical degree or whatever. Like I was saying, I'm a physicist and stuff. So it's just what it seems like to me. And especially like hearing a whole bunch of different people, and listening to like Mark Bell's Power Project, where he'll interview doctors and stuff like that, and you get completely different responses from different people, radically different. One says that it's the best thing you could ever do for your life and your health, and the other one says it'll kill you next week. So it's like, okay. But one thing, a couple people I've started to follow is Dr. Sean Baker. I think that verbatim is just his Instagram name, whatever. And he's a big proponent of the carnivore diet. And I think there's another one called Carnivore MD, but the primary person I listen to for that stuff is Dr. Sean Baker. And I mean, he's doing pretty well. I mean, I think he's somewhere around his 50s or so, and he deadlifts more than me. That's for sure. So, and he does a straight carnivore diet. He's doing, and he'll like show his health stats or whatever when he does blood tests and stuff like that. And I think just especially doctors and stuff, when it comes to the health space, when you're dealing with stuff like this, because there's always someone trying to sell you something. But having a doctor that's like going through it and like being honest and showing you what it's doing to him, even specifically, and talking about it in some intelligent manner, makes a big difference. It changed mine. It changed my life, I guess. That's one of those things. It's like I've even noticed, like when I tried to like go to less meat at some point. And even if I keep everything else constant, it just, I all of a sudden I'm tired all the time, and I don't want to do anything. My lifting goes down the drain and stuff like that. Like it's just doesn't go very well. But I don't know. Just wanted to talk a little bit about that, because that's what brought it up, and I thought it could be helpful for somebody. He also touts a lot about how it helps with autoimmune disorders in certain degrees. I don't remember exactly which ones, but he's given a few examples. And actually, my girlfriend has Raynaud's and a bunch of other has vascularity issues and stuff like that. And like whenever we start kind of trying to have her eat more meat and stuff like that, it's like her symptoms kind of subside a little bit. And she's not very regimented, we'll say, when it comes to diet. She likes her Oreos and everything else. It is what it is. But and she does say she feels better when it comes to stuff like that. And I don't know. It's something we might try at some point. Talk to other people. I've also heard on Dr. Jordan B. Peterson's podcast, he talks about, or I don't know if he talks about it, but his daughter, I think, who does the kind of like advertisements and stuff, or she'll do, I don't know, narrating, I guess, what it is. She'll like introduce the people for the interview and stuff like that, give quick facts about them and stuff. But she's talking about how like the best breakfast you could have is like steak. And I was like, I mean, that it is for me too. So but she seems to be like, because I know they have a lot of health issues. I'm not entirely sure what, but they talked a little bit about how doing more of a carnivore diet significantly helped. So I don't know, it's one of those. I'm nowhere near nor claiming to be some form of expert on this, but I mean, it's helped me personally. I've heard of quite a few people that it has helped as well. Haven't really heard of anyone doing it and not making some form of positive difference in their life. So I obviously don't know everyone on the planet, so there's that. But regardless, I think it's definitely something you could at least try. I mean, like if you're having those form of like autoimmune issues and stuff like that, sometimes it's just worth a shot. I mean, you're gonna have to try stuff anyway, so I don't know. It's always worth looking into. You never know what could happen. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day.